What's going on today, YouTube? And on the second episode of the second season of the Streamer Shoutout, we are doing something different. We're doing a little panel discussion around New World. I have two returning legendary guests, Lackadaysickle and Lavacolonix, and we will be diving deeper into New World, the state of the game, the future of the game, and our initial impressions of the game. Man, Lack is rocking over 1,000 followers on Twitch, Lava is also rocking over 1,000 followers on Twitch. Guys, these are legendary streamers. You need to go check them out. They're absolutely great people. Without further ado, let's get to a little streamer shout-out panel discussion segment, shall we? Let's go. Oh, now, and he's gone.
Like, okay.
We just get going, and then he's gone, huh? Crazy.
He saw it as he was going to pee. He said he drank like a gallon of water today. He will be right back, I assure you.
Oh, my gosh. No worries. How are you, man? Welcome in.
I'm so good and drunk.
Hey, how's the Batcave doing right now?
It's pretty, dude. I was in here earlier today, and I noticed Alfred missed a spot on the Bat computer, and I tried not to make a big deal out of it, but you know how he's passive aggressive, right? In the Lack
the whole time,
and he's just like, oh, Master Lack, that's not a spot. I'm like, that's a goddamn spot, Alfred. You better get the fucking Swiffer out here and fix this shit.
Fire him.
Fuck around.
He's fired.
He may have raised me since a young boy, but
what's up, Lava? How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, bro. I'm doing pretty good.
God, I've already told you this multiple times, but I've been looking forward to tonight, getting back into New World, talking about New World, dude. There's so many things coming up with the game that's going to change it. That's just going to, we're going to sink tons more hours into it. Speaking of hours, how many hours do you guys have in the game?
Do you want me to look right now?
I don't know if you knew off the top of your head. I looked earlier. I'm not nearly as much as you guys. I'm at 350 hours.
Me and Lack had the same reaction. We're both like, ooh.
948.
You haven't broken 1,000 yet?
No, dude. No, I dropped off.
Hang on, I'm going to my library quick.
As soon as Fortnite put no build in, I'm like, well, this is nice and
same.
Successful. And I can still chop trees. So
Lack's got way more than I do. I've got 392.8 hours in game time done.
Oh my gosh, I almost got you. I'm at 350.
Yeah. And I'm still a beefy boy.
Lava, what are we doing? We're slacking, man.
Yeah, we're lacking.
Oh, listen. Okay, if you triple your time, like put it together and triple it, you'd have as many builds as me, and then all of your crafting would be up there as well. So
fair.
Except for logging. I don't think I'll ever catch up to your logging.
Hey, my logging, I'm starting to do the expertise logging shit. I'm doing the mastery shit.
Yeah, I'm only like level 40 of that.
Hey man, I bet my herbs higher than yours.
I bet not, dude. My house is in Windsward, bitch. I'm out there every day.
We're gonna find out.
Just fucking going nuts.
I flagged for PvP the other day. I was like, don't you fucking harvest that. Don't you? And, wire fiber.
So guys, just a little quick catch up session. What's been new with you guys? IRL.
IRL?
In real life, man. What's been new with you guys?
Oh man, just fucking work. Been working on some massive projects at work, and it's been taking its toll a little bit. We're doing a lot with the yard. I finished our fire pit area. The ladies we're doing some landscaping up front. We're getting rid of all of the ground cover that kind of grew into flower beds up front. We're actually planting new shit. We started a garden. That's been going really well. I just ate one of the jalapenos.
Yeah.
She brought it over, said bite into it on stream, so I did, and it was hotter than I expected it to be. It was good. Garden fresh.
Seedy. Nice.
Very seedy.
Nice.
Yeah, I bet the fucking tip of it, where all the seeds just kind of hang out, is hot as hell.
Rock, what about you, man? What's been new with you lately?
Well, I'm supposed to do new stuff. I thought it was just life is repetition, rhythmic. No. I'm looking at moving out to my family's old farm and stuff like that. And like some of the improvements I want to make out there would be, it's going to change content on this channel greatly. I'm planning on building like A whole steel shed with some sound stages and shit like that. So that'll be fun. A lot of green screen action going on, and then perhaps some tiny houses, like a couple of log cabins in the backyard. So like if somebody wants to come and like collaborate on some content, they have a place to stay.
Nice.
That's the plan. We'll see what happens. Though.
I know where I'm going then.
North Carolina.
Lackadaysickle commune, baby.
There.
Like
Oh my gosh.
Wait, no, you're gonna actually make everybody think it's a cult now. Don't.
Occupy, bring in the Kool-Aid.
We're not going Waco, and then everybody's like, "Oh, have you been? Laco, Texas." I'm like, "It's not even in Texas. What is that?"
Laco, Carolina.
What about streams? How's your guys' streams been going lately?
Dude, I think this new tool that they have in beta, and I don't know if we've ever talked about that, Mr. J, but they have this new tool in beta for discoverability, and I think it's doing wonders. I like hit a plateau for a while on followers is like one every like 2 or 3 streams, and now it's like 4 or 5 again, and I'm like, okay, so looks like they're improving discoverability, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think the discoverability is definitely improving on the platform finally. Hopefully it gets in par with what YouTube's discoverability is. I just broke 1,000 followers a couple weeks ago and did a 24-hour stream and died 4 times on that stream. It was crazy. It was
well, if you're a cat, you still have 5 more lives. You're good to go.
Exactly. I have enough cats. I'm just siphoning their lives from me.
All right, guys, here we go. So I want to get into New World, man. Like I'm gonna not delay any longer. But here's the thing. You know me, and you know my streamer shoutouts here. I always have a crazy question that I want to ask. Right. So we'll go one at a time. Who's gonna go first?
Flip a coin. I'll flip a guitar pick.
Yeah,
it's lava. Oh man.
All right, cool. That's crazy.
The guitar pick is actually orange, so it is lava.
Fair enough.
The problem is that it's lava on both sides.
Oh shit. I got Two-Faced.
Harvey did shit.
I got Harvey did to the shit.
I mean, you guys have the same question, but Lava, you're going first.
All right.
Okay. So my question is, if you randomly woke up naked, what happened last night?
Way too much scotch.
What kind of scotch?
Oh, Glenlivet 12-year, obviously. That's a 2 bottle of scotch night when you wake up the next morning completely naked. Yup.
Just drinking yourself naked. Attaboy.
Oh yeah.
Proud of you.
It's like tequila for me.
All right, Lack. Same question. If you randomly woke up naked, what happened last night?
Okay, well, like this is not an uncommon occurrence in my life, but I probably hooked up at the bar, most likely with a lady in her mid-30s, recently going through a divorce. Wanted to get revenge on the husband by hooking up with a guy and his, a younger guy who works out, keeps his body nice and tight. That's yeah. So basically a revenge rebound lay. There we go. That's usually what happened.
I feel like
it's often in a bed. I
feel like that's the most accurate thing you've ever said.
He's really thought this through. He's really thought this through.
Multiple times.
He's reading it off a teleprompter. He had this typed up, waiting for it.
Yeah, he did.
I tried to sneak out of one though because I woke up and I'm like, I don't know who the fuck that is. I don't know what bed I'm in. And I walk outside to get in my car, and I didn't drive. She drove me home, and I'm like, how do I get out of here with that? I called my mom.
Steal her car. Oh yeah, call your mom.
20 fucking 6 years old, and I called my mom to come take me home from a one-night stand. It's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I don't think I used the condom. I don't know what's going on, mama.
All right, guys.
Best car ride home too, where your mom's just like, Anthony, are you reviewing some of your decisions in life? I'm like, not particularly, because I don't remember them.
I say, if I can remember them, fuck yeah.
All right, are you guys ready for the moment of truth?
Yeah.
Okay. There's been a game that's graced our presence about a year, maybe closing in on a year.
I think it's November, what, 9 months,
right? So almost a year, and that at first had a lot of promise, right? We kind of had a lot of interest in it. The game is New World, obviously. What I want to get first question there. What was your guys's? And no. Try to keep away like what you want the game to be. What you try to remember back 9 months ago, right?
Okay.
What was your initial impressions of the game?
You want to field first, Lava? You go ahead.
All right. Yeah. So I was incredibly excited, incredibly optimistic about the game. It was beautiful. The gameplay felt really smooth compared to some MMOs I've played, even more recent MMOs that have come out like Lost Ark, things like that. The gameplay just felt real fluid, and you start getting into it. I spent like first 5 hours was when I was like in love with the, and then it kind of I started noticing things at that, but
What did
it had so much promise
so
early
then
on.
kind of okay? So again, kind of keep it to maybe the first
Yeah.
couple months of gameplay. What specifically was your like? Oh my god, I like this about the game. And then alternatively, what did you not like about the game within that first couple months of playing?
The class structure, like how you were able to build and level weapons, and then that would also help kind of determine your class. You felt like you didn't have to go to the meta, and you could still be viable, which I love in an MMO. Like when World of Warcraft got rid of talent trees and went to just like you get to pick from these 3 things out of these 5 lines, and that's your fucking spec. Everyone started min maxing, going for the meta. This felt like you didn't have to do that. And again, the combat was just so fluid and clean. The animations, everything was just real nice and crisp, and it felt refreshing. Like it was a game I've been waiting for without realizing I'd been.
Right. Lack. So what was your kind of initial impressions of the game?
All right, I'm not a big MMO guy, as we all know. I'm not a big anything guy. Give me a gun, let me shoot people and drink beer, and I'm a happy camper. But dude, it really was like that, like Lava said, like touched on with the movement, the combat elements and things of that nature. Obviously, we're gonna state something that everybody knows pretty well about me. I liked that your crafting and harvesting shit went to your actual leveling up. So I was really overpowered when I went through some of those early missions because I had chopped down, I don't know, like 100,000 trees or something in a few days.
He caused deforestation in
Uh-huh.
a single evening. 18 hours. He was the rainforest bane.
I was gonna say, let me at the Amazon, dude. That fucker's gone. But no, that
Walmart's
was
as far as the eye can see.
Pay paradise to put up a parking lot. But no, it really was really, really good. Now, something that did happen the initial night, because I think we all like started at the same time. Me, Lava, Death, and Stu all started on the same night in the game. We were all really excited about it. And the biggest problem I had was there were 2 initial spawn points, and we literally had to run like 2,000 fucking meters just to like quest together and shit. It was really fucking dumb. But you know, still like you make up with that with the campfire shit, earning your skills and refining the resources, and there's something to do the whole time. Like when we were sitting outside of that expedition the other day, you can sit there and like fish, get your fishing up, you know, get some cool shit. So these were things that really turned me on about the game.
Well, this is a great segue to kind of what you guys all talked about from the game. And I know me personally, I've never really been an MMO person either. I did World of Warcraft for a couple months, but I did the PvE part of it. And I feel like World of Warcraft back many years ago was big on like PvP and like group things. And I kind of tried to do it solo, thinking it was an RPG. You know what I'm saying? So I never really understood like MMO aspects. Well, this one, I like how New World is quote unquote realistic, and it's not, you know, cartoony and animated, and it's like it's visually pleasing, and it's still an open world, and you can still do the magical elements of it, but it still looks, I don't want to say realistic, but you know what I'm trying to say.
It looks clean.
really
Even
good.
if you drop settings all the way to the lowest, it still looks really good.
Right.
Like there's a lot of games where you drop settings down to low, shit starts getting blocky, your render distance is fucked, and it looks shitty out there. New World does a good job at balancing that on your low settings.
Yep. So this is a good, I guess, a good kind of entry into our next question then. What are now kind of thinking about, you know, 4 or 5 months into the game, you know, after we've kind of really gotten into it, really put the hours into it, what are the complaints that you have? Like, what are the things that have kind of like turned you off from the game, or even like your friends like made them stop playing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the complaints?
One of the biggest fucking problems is something we said in the early days of the game.
Yup.
Within like a week, we were like, dude, fix the fucking fast travel system. Fucking give us more ass up, make it cost less, do fucking something. Otherwise, give us a goddamn mount. I'll fucking ride a goddamn wheelbarrow around there. A unicycle. I don't give a shit if I have to fucking level it up in my fucking abilities. But it was unbelievable. Like, hey man, you want to do a quest up here? I'll be there in an hour. Wait on me, please.
I agree with that 100%. Like the distance between quests, like you would pick up a quest, you'd be doing quests in a certain area, your very next quest sends you across the fucking world. And you have to, and the only choice you have is to run there because they allowed factions to control how much Azoth it cost to fast travel, the tax in that area. It was not a sustainable system. It was just, and you couldn't earn Azoth for shit because unless you were already in level 45, 50 area, you didn't have access to the quests and to the mobs that gave you decent Azoth. You were screwed. It was way too grindy. I understand where they were going. They made a lot of mistakes that that MMOs that have been established for 13, 14, 15 years have already made. And they just repeated it. And it really took away a lot of the fun when you have to wait literally 30 minutes real world time for a motherfucker to run across. And then to make it worse, there was some starting area quests. You got to a certain level where no matter where your starting area was, it sent you to the other starting area across the goddamn world. Through high level areas to continue your fucking quests.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you brought up too about how like they're making the same mistakes that other MMOs have made over the years. Because it's a funny thing that I don't know if you guys probably know. Obviously, the dev team for New World, out of like everybody pretty much on the team, I think only one person actually had MMO experience.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be an
the
MMO.
Whole dev team.
Well, it was initially a PvP. They were more focused. That's why like OPR and some of the flagged PvP content like played better because if you played in the beta, it was heavily focused on PvP, you know, and that's what they wanted to carry over. And it's like if you wanted to do the PvE grind, they wanted it to be harder because they wanted you to focus on the PvP. And I think that kind of bit them in the ass. Now that I've calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, it's the same. I got a little heated there too, bud.
Yeah, the Azoth traveling thing was a major pain in the ass at the beginning. I feel like what you said too about how factions controlled it. So like some traveling points were more expensive based on if you weren't in the faction. What still would have been a headache, but would have made it semi easier is if traveling cost, regardless of how full your bag was based purely on distance. Obviously, the farther you want to go, the more expensive. Sure. But
there was areas where you could go across the entire map.
Yeah.
If your faction owned both sites, it didn't cost you a whole lot.
Right.
The other issue there is like if you had a faction that pushed another, if you were two factions, you pushed the third one off the map for a little while, impossible to fast travel. Everything was so expensive.
This, though, like December-ish, November-ish, even January-ish. Everybody's excuse was just buy a house, right?
Yeah,
and it's like that doesn't work when somebody's taxing $300 a week, and that's what it was. We didn't have hidden stashes or the juniper berry fucking like crates or whatever the free shit. I'm just kind of like your daily logins and stuff. We didn't have that. So you would have to go out and farm the fuck out of anything. And then you're fighting the bots for these fucking raw resources and shit like that. It was a big problem. The economy itself was just absolutely stupid in the early days.
Economy? It was shambles.
I'm not doing my catchphrase. I have too many catchphrases.
Yeah, and obviously we don't need to bring up the clear, the bugs, the immortality glitch, the gold glitch. Like that's gonna happen with any game.
Glitches,
that's gonna happen with any game. Like people are gonna find loopholes, they're gonna fix them and move on from that. I do think though the gold glitch did hurt it a lot more than the immortality and those other glitches.
It did numbers on the economy. It you can still kind of feel it, but they've done I don't want to go too far into like the next portion. They've done better at stabilizing the economy since January.
Well, you remember
January, it was terrible to buy anything. And I mean, as I play a tank, it's still bad to buy anything. But like, if you were a healer, you couldn't afford shit.
You also remember, like, we had a big problem on Argadnell whenever we first started.
Yep.
And we were all there. That the yellow people, am I allowed to call them?
It's their faction color. It's okay.
Team,
out of the three of us, I think okay.
All right, the yellow guys. My people descend from Asia. It's all good. We're all good here. No. But you remember, like, they just blatantly would start accounts, and they had so much money that they had like almost every fucking territory on our server and shit like that. They could fund it. Yeah, like they had armorers, they had weaponsmiths and everything because they had like the gold glitch shit. And they fucking murdered the economy in the entire game on that first server. Castle of Steel was almost like a blessing in a way.
No, it literally was. Right. It made the game. It brought me back. Like when they said we were doing a merger and it's going to balance. It felt so good. But the crazy thing was that faction Lack's talking about, over half of their players got banned for botting.
Yep.
And cheating and exploiting.
And ironically, the server became better. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. after we pushed yellow completely off the map.
Yeah. Yep. Well, without their cheaters, they didn't have shit to offer.
Yeah, they couldn't hold a candle.
Yep. All right, chat. So this is going to This is gonna be a great segue into our second or last section, or the kind of the questions. If you have any questions for either Lackadaysickle or Lavacolonix, be sure to highlight your message. We can ask them. Or if you just have a question in general about the game, I'll pose it to our panel here, and we'll just talk about it, right? So if you have other questions that you want to ask or kind of know about the game, or in general, like, be sure to ask them, highlight your message so I do not miss it, and we'll ask the question to the panel, and that'll be kind of some more talking points. So if you do have any questions, be sure to get them in. Okay, so we talked about what we liked about the game. We talked about the complaints of the game. Now we can kind of fast forward even more to current state of the game, right?
Oh.
Where do you guys think currently? No. Take out what you know is coming.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no.
Yeah, take out what you know is coming. Currently, if we were to get on the game, obviously we're going to get onto it, but like right now, some of the changes that's made from the beginning, etc. What do you guys think, or where do you guys think the current state of the game is?
I think the current.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're excited. You're excited. You're excited. Go ahead.
I was not that excited. I just like touched the chin a little bit. No, I think the hidden caches and stuff like that from just like going out chopping a couple of trees and stuff is way better. The property taxes in your house is a drastic fucking improvement, because like owning a house now makes sense, because you can just run out there, chop down one tree, come back and pay your fucking tax. Not that I've been doing a lot of that. As travel fast points, they've increased fast travel points. I'd still like to see a couple of improvements here with maybe an LFG for like expeditions and things of that nature, like a dungeon finder, like they have in WoW. They've had WoW for like 10 years or whatever. See something like that imported in. You know, I don't want to talk to people in the game. I don't know if you've ever just sat in a town and heard the people that hit T to talk. It's not good.
It's the
that's the internet. That's the internet.
It's the internet. It's a weird fucking space to be in when you're talking in the game. But
I don't want to like type up in LFG, like go to that comms fucking like chat channel and just be like, hey, I want to run Amrine or something like that, you know?
And then just wait for someone to respond, maybe, or just go to Amrine and wait to see if a motherfucker shows up to.
That's usually the best way to do it, though. That's the funniest part.
We took a random guy through, because he's like, hey, do you got room for two in your guys' group? I'm like, no, we only got room for one. He goes, can you take my friend? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, sure. That's what we do. We're the Memes Musketeers. We help people. And they're like, all right, bet. I'm gonna have them add you.
So that's a big part of it, is like the fast travel points, the increase in fast travel points, the cost in Azoth being reduced. Now I can like zip across the map, no fucking problems. And the property tax.
I'm always at cap.
Yeah.
I also like the mutated, like, you know, if you know an expedition really well, you're really good at it. Like the mutated orbs are a great addition. The gypsum that you can buy from you know, your faction and stuff like that. I think these are great additions. I just feel like they're coming a little bit late. If you would have done everything that we're talking about that's awesome about the game right now.
We first talked about it in November.
Yeah.
Well, we mentioned this shit in November.
Yep.
That's asking a lot of a developer, but
right.
That's
but
pretty much how I feel about it. All right.
At the same point, the Azoth cap being, you know, what it is, the ability to gain Azoth from kills, as well as just doing your regular farming and completing quests, all that shit is awesome. The increased amount of expertise you have a chance to gain by going through like Shattered Mountains and clearing things out there by fighting things higher level than you, also wonderfully improved. They've increased the rate of that, and I'm not going to go too far into that because it's going to bring me to the thing we're going to talk about next. At the same point, they've reduced how grindy it feels, because they've already played with the experience table for leveling.
Yep.
It's already easier to level. It's already you get more resource and everything like that from doing profession stuff. It's the way the game is right now is kind of where I was hoping it would go early on.
Right.
And with them having it more accessible to travel, even low level players, if you get to a fast travel point, you want to start zipping around the map, you can gain enough Azoth at a lower level to where it doesn't break your fucking bank. You're not screwed and have to run across the entire map.
Right. We're actually getting a bunch of questions, and I was reading them, and we can talk about it now without kind of getting into our next segment. You know what I'm saying? Well, the first question that we had was, do you guys think they'll ever give us mounts? Now, my personal thing, I'm going to kind of start off with, I want to start off with this because recently I've been on a big Asmod Gold kick lately. And Dragonflight update or alpha for WoW just came out. So he spent probably like 2 hours today just talking about the new mounts and whatever. And it got me thinking that not every MMO needs a mount. I get that. But If New World had a mount and had like, okay, grind this dungeon, grind this elite level for this particular mount for that level, it gives players something else to play for and something else to do.
More end-game content.
Right. So honestly, I actually don't think mounts would be a bad idea anymore. What do you guys think about mounts in the game?
In the current state of the game, I think mounts are a bad idea.
Okay.
It's going to be a little controversial with those that play the game. There is a lot of space to cover right now, but we got to think about it. We're in the first iteration, we're in the first season, if you will, the first expansion of the game. As they add more territory, if you think about World of Warcraft, I mean, when World of Warcraft dropped, maps were way bigger than they are right now in this game in New World.
Yep.
And you didn't have a mount until, a while into the game.
Right.
Now, if they were to do an expansion where they open up another area and the map starts to double in size, 1000% add mounts, because that makes the most sense, because then you can travel faster to get those points. You don't have to worry about spending Azoth bouncing all over the map. But if you needed to travel back to the original area, use your Azoth, take a trip. But the size of the map is right now, I don't think mounts are a good play, because it's going to make the game boring.
Okay.
Because of the size of the map. It's going to make things too easy, too casual, and it's going to make it boring to the players, in my opinion.
Right. Black?
Oh, well, you mentioned Asmongold, but like, are we taking that guy's advice? Didn't he spend like $15,000 in Diablo Immortal?
For stream purposes, but yeah, I get you.
No, I'm on board with this. Like, it was for us, and it's what we said from day one in the game. It's either cut the Azoth cost, which they did, or put in mounts, and they cut the Azoth cost. So I'm like, and they have so many more fast travel points now. I don't really see a point in mounts at all.
Sure.
If I can zip from here to there, recall to my house, zip from here to there, I just don't see.
Sure.
I don't see a point in it now. It would be like what you're talking about. It would be a fun addition to the game, to have one for like, look at me, I've got the dragon from Genesis, man. What's going on?
Right.
Pretty cool, huh?
Right.
Like, yes, Lack, but I have Asian dragon. Why did I do that voice? I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm running the tiger.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that would be kind of fun, and shit like that. But their whole reasoning in the beginning when they said they didn't want to put mounts in, it's like, the animals, the
animal and humans war.
It's like, one of the later game missions is like, hey, there's this sweet bear that sits on his ass and gives you gear. Like,
he talks.
Hey,
he's
man,
a happy bear.
That's
hi,
true.
paw. You know what I mean? Like,
True. Yep.
He's a happy-go-lucky guy. You just got to hang out with a bear.
Yep.
Now, in the state, like I was saying, in the state it is right now with the Azoth reduction, adding mounts, no point.
Sure.
Double the size of the map, maybe triple it, give it an expansion or two, like big content updates where they're adding multiple areas, not just one area, just multiple areas. Then think about mounts, because then mounts make more sense, because you don't always want to have to run all the way back slowly to your fast travel point to go back to your town in Windsworth.
Yep.
You may want to hop on a mount quick, ride to the fast travel, then go. That makes sense when the maps are that.
Right.
This too, and I see something negative coming if they were to put mounts as well. Like in a area like Reekwater, where most of the shit's like level 60, really high level heavy hitters and shit like that.
Yeah.
You could easily just go, and if like the mission is to talk to somebody in there, you wouldn't engage with you wouldn't actually feel the presence
skip
of
content.
danger. You're missing out on like how hard you need to be in that area, and you have a misinterpretation of like how fucking heavy those things are in that area.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a good idea.
A good way to counter that though is to add a dazed effect, where if a mob hits you while you're running, your speed's cut in half,
or you fall off your mount.
If you get hit again, you fall off your mount.
Right.
Like daze me, like you do when I'm currently running. If you hit me, I get
Elden
slowed.
Ring shit going on.
Yeah, like if you hit me, if I'm running through an area trying to skip mobs and you hit me, I get slowed down, and it gives a chance for all the mobs to come up and fuck me over.
Right.
And then, if I can dodge out of it and get back to running, I'm fine. I think the same thing should apply to mounts.
Well, just like in V Rising,
like just straight ATM or like some dirt.
It's not great. It's not good.
Okay. Yeah, just like in just like in V Rising, if you guys have played that, like you can turn like wolf form, you run a little bit faster, but as soon as you take any damage at all, you get put out of that form. You're back to your normal form. So like I said, I was watching Asmon and I was like, oh, you know what? Like having that like grinding mounts or like doing different elite areas for a chance at a rare mount drop just for purely, I guess, something else to do intrigued me to be like, hey, that might not be a bad idea to add mounts. But I do agree with you guys that right now it's not necessary. They've added so many extra fast travel spawn points and lowered the cost too, like you guys are saying. So Don't
Yeah,
truly
it's
need
like-
it.
I do have a
What
counter.
do you got? Like every 300-400 meters, there's another fast travel point,
Right.
especially for like areas
They've
of
added.
serious
There's
interest,
so many more. Every instance now has a fast travel spot outside of it,
which is sweet.
or expedition, I guess they call it. Even though they goofed up during one of their, I think it was dev reviews or whatever, they called it a dungeon, even though it's not a dungeon.
Yep.
Oh,
But
Blizzard,
now I'll
Blizzard would
counter you
sue them
this.
if they weren't in a big lawsuit themselves.
But now I'm going to counter you. Instead of adding mounts this early in the game, how about in maybe, definitely not this upcoming content patch, but in the next one, how about add companions that you can only get by feats of strength in a dungeon? Where you
Like
have,
for
where you have
extra
a
storage,
companion,
maybe?
Do you mean like a
for
pet
extra storage.
system?
Like your
Yeah, like a
like your
pet
pack
system.
animal? Like you can put
little pack
items
animal.
into it to
You
carry
can-
for you?
Yeah, if you're and you can specialize in pack animals. So let's say you like your lack. You like cutting down trees. You can specialize to where it can carry more. You can make a saddle with your leather working. It can carry more wood without becoming slowed and encumbered, but it also faces the same load that you do. You make
I
it
like that.
encumbered. Now you have to walk slow with your animal.
Oh, so like
And-
a fucking you're carrying around an ox, like Paul.
Kind of like
Bunyan?
yeah.
Just
Like, you get,
yeah.
but you can like
Hey, Blue.
I think if you were looking for like new content like that, where it gives you something to
That's-
grind at the end game, and they haven't
that's
come up
good.
with something, I think a companion system where they're
Could-
actually usable.
Could you attack each other's companions? Or are they like
I don't
basically
think they should be
impervious to damage?
attackable.
Yeah.
Because
And you
then
can
you're
only
looking
use
at
them when you're
another class point.
unflagged. If
Yes.
you made it where you only use them when
Okay,
you're
yep.
unflagged, that would work.
Unflagged.
That would
Okay,
work.
perfect.
If you're talking about companion animals that can fight back and attack, that should be limited to certain classes, like
a mage
what you
or
call
something?
hunter classes, like
Druid, yeah.
like a
Oh.
guy with a bow or a gun. Like if
Yep.
you're running with a musket or you're running with a bow, make it a spec.
Okay,
in the
now
tree.
we're actually ripping off WoW. Let's move.
Hey, that's
past
the-
Yeah, that's
Oh.
exactly that's where I'm getting, like a hunter class. You know what I'm saying?
I'll do
If you're gonna add it to where it can fight shit, make it part of a class of some sort.
Yeah. I'll do a couple more questions here, then we'll get to our big topic of the New World conversation. So I'm level 29, and my leveling is very minute. Is there anything I can do to level better? Like my gem crafting, weaving, fishing skills are completely zero, as well as weaponsmithing. So any way
Definitely.
to level better? What do you guys think?
Definitely, dude. Like, just going in there and like, yeah, you're gonna eat some craft feeds, okay? Going out there and smacking a bunch of like fucking small trees, big trees, making lumber, making timber, or making charcoal at the smelting station. Like that is a very, and believe me, I know this. I specialized in this. All right, it's a very,
I just
very
made
quick way to
$5,000
level up.
today in the hour that I was live.
It's like
Uh-huh.
if you ever find yourself like waiting to do something like a quest or something like that, and you just see a bunch of trees, wipe them out.
Yeah.
You got a chance to go fishing, and there is a quest for leveling up your fishing in there that provides some pretty substantial experience.
Look at your town boards as well.
Yep.
Because those
Town
town
board,
boards will send you
faction
to
shit.
do fishing, like where you gotta harvest the fish, salvage them, get the fillets, turn them in. Great way to get experience from that. You get experience from
Your
fishing
area,
itself.
too.
Cooking,
And it helps your
you-
area.
Yeah,
like
and-
cooking's one of the biggest early game, I would say, XP things, because if there's a mission where you're killing animals, what are you gonna do with that meat?
harvesting,
Leatherworking,
leatherworking, skinning, like your gathering professions are going to be the easiest ones for you to level because you don't have to have the additional crafting mods like sandpaper or tannin
Uh-huh.
or any of that cross weave shit. You don't need to have any additional stuff to level it up. You can just harvest it, sell it immediately.
Yeah,
Because
level one
motherfuckers have buy
refining.
orders all day.
Right.
Level
Mining
one
is a great
refining is level one refining is like a big way to make a lot of money in raw resources and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you're doubling up XP because you harvested the leather,
Yep.
right? So there's your fucking skinning and stuff like that. Then you take it and then you turn it into the rugged leather.
Yep.
And then you put it on the market if you need the money. I mean, it's a very, very quick and easy way to get some XP that
Yep.
I think a lot of people overlook, but I did.
I'll do
Here-
one more. Go on.
If you're just starting the game like today, don't worry about the crafting of like leather armor, cloth armor, metal armor. Don't worry about any of that right now. Wait a couple weeks before
Yep.
you do any of that because you're gonna be sinking your time and you're gonna be sinking your money and resources. Just do the gathering and refining professions.
So do the first
Sell that
tier
shit.
of refining. So
Yep.
yeah,
Just sell it.
absolutely.
I'll do one more question now. We'll go into our next major segment, and then we'll go back to chat questions, okay? Do you guys think that the devs of New World will make a new World game or a game to follow it?
If they make another New World game, I'm not buying that shit. Oh my god.
I don't
This
think
was-
they're gonna make another New World game. To be honest with you, I think they're gonna focus on content for the existing one because
Uh-huh.
if you think about it, you have plenty of room for expansion. You have new character
Yeah.
models they can develop, completely new areas you can get to. This whole area
Classy
is
weapon.
mystical, magical shit. You take portals all the fucking time. You have the ability to get to a part where you take a portal, you have an entire blighted area, you have an entire corrupted area that you have to explore. Gear that you get from doing quests that reduce the amount of corrupted or blight you get. There's so many potential options to expand the existing game. I think if you were to see a New World 2, it won't be for like 6, 7, 10 years.
Probably not. I mean,
Right.
the amount of investment into this game and the improvements that need to be seen, I don't
Yeah.
think a sequel would be a viable option for, like he said, at least half a decade. Because you wouldn't want
At
to.
least.
Even payable like DLC is not a fucking good idea. Like an expansion or whatever is not a good idea right now. When your viewer base is dropping, your fucking player base is dropping, your in-game purchases are not where you want them to be. You have improvements at a very, very minimal level that need to
At a
be happening,
molecular level, damn near with your game.
and you're making them, but you're putting them in slowly. So I think they need to work on the expediting the process of implementing like quality of life improvements for like players that are really dedicated, and they should focus on that before they start like just like, oh hey New World 2 guys, we're gonna call
What's
it New
up?
World. It's like, what are you, Taika Waititi and Free Guy?
None of your shit
Fuck up,
transfers.
dude. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You better fucking put out a good first movie before you make a sequel. You know what I mean?
Otherwise, this shit going
RoboCop 2,
straight to
baby.
DVD.
RoboCop 2!
All right, guys, we're going to move into probably the meat of the conversation right now, kind of the biggest part of
where
our...
I get naked, or
I've been waiting
hopefully.
for it. I was about to do the same thing. I
Hopefully.
grabbed my shirt too.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to put up on screen for everybody right now what we're about to talk about. And it just released probably about a month or so ago. And this is the content roadmap that was released for New World. We've already got the spring edition. So we've already got the Tempest Heart. We've already got the Blunderbuss, the PvP arenas. Before we get into the
balancing
next,
that.
like the summer and autumn updates, the kind of major ones that we've been waiting to talk about, what do you guys think about the spring updates when they added in the Tempest Heart, they added in the Blunderbuss, and the PvP arena? Like, do you think that was good for the game, or what do you think about those additions?
Let's not just call it the arena, though. There is an entire like level up track with rewards for doing things like OPR and PvP, and that is a great addition to the game.
They refined it.
And yes, arenas is kind of, I mean, it's just kind of basic bitchy. It's not really that big of a deal to put. Yeah.
Right.
In the games, they're just kind of like, well, yeah, you know, I've loaded in with 3 guys with a bow, and we're like, oh, looking around. You look around at these randos you loaded in with, and you're like, oh, we're fucked, huh? All right, cool, man.
Lit.
Guy comes over with a warhammer, just smashes all 3 of you.
We're gonna hang out for 5 minutes. Back to the lobby.
I do think it's a great addition, and also, since this game was initially like so much more like PvP like oriented and stuff, it never felt like that with OPR, which was the major like you know.
Well,
like,
PR had a
PvP
lot
arena.
of PvE elements to it to even do good in the PvP portion.
This is true.
And
this is true.
I'm
but
not
it
a
was
big
so much more
PvP
focused
guy
on
in New
that.
World. I like the PvE element of it. I was big in PvP in WoW because WoW had it fleshed out by the first expansion.
I don't know if you guys have played any OPR recently though. Like the queues are like way faster, and the rewards are fucking awesome, and you're guaranteed some gypsum just about every fucking game.
Oh yeah.
So it makes it worth it. So they've revamped the reward system. So all these PvP things are much more viable, which is weird that, you know, the PvE was like what I don't know. That's why I started playing was the PvP elements and stuff like that. Yet it was a PvP oriented game and shit like that. It's like I was never unflagged chopping down trees or anything. So whenever now that they're orienting it this way, it's like the PvP is really good.
Right.
The PvP for this is really, really good. And they've always done a good job with the PvP. But like revamping some of the rewards for OPR and the the 3v3 arena is just kind of funny. But the PvP reward track that they put in the game, so it's like you can spend that Azal salt on stuff to, you know, level up and shit. I think that's a really, really good idea.
Oh yeah.
And it's breathing some new life into the game. I mean, the game mode itself could use a little balancing. But you know, that's a topic for a different day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or later today.
Right. I mean,
I loaded in with 2 healers.
We're going strong.
I loaded in with my fucking bow and arrow and 2 healers one game too, and I was like, all right, so I guess it's up to me, huh? All right.
I will be doing the murder.
Yeah. All right. What I think honestly is the beginning of the resurgence of New World. Okay. This summer update that's about to come out. I'm going to put on screen for you guys a little clip of the Barnacles and Black Powder new dungeon and one of the elements
he
that you're
also
going to
has a
have
really
in
great
that.
mechanic
This
where
is
he,
the
jumps up into the
Captain
rafters and
Black
calls
Powder,
down
I
cannon
believe,
fire
and this
on
is
the
the
player.
boss fight in it.
So
So there's a
there's a
lot
lot
of
of
new
things to
components.
dodge and
You have that
avoid and
cannon where
kinda
you actually get to
counterplay,
load the
back and
cannon
forth.
and shoot this. So
And
you
there's
get a
also
cannonball,
a
you
really
load the
interesting
cannon
mechanic,
to be able to shoot
interacting
him.
with
So a lot of
cannons
new
for
mechanics
the players
with this
themselves, where
new
they can fire back
expedition.
at the
It's coming
admiral.
out, you know, with this new
And
summer
and
update.
send some of
So
the
that new Barnacles and Black Powder update, the expedition, is kind of the flagship of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Initial thoughts of that, and then we'll get into the second biggest topic that we've already kind of like hinted at so far, but we'll talk about it in just a moment.
We've been tiptoeing through the
I know we
tulips on
have.
it.
Oh yeah, but what is your guys' initial thoughts about this new expedition?
I think it's great that they're adding newer mechanics that you haven't really seen in the game.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the dungeons that we've gone through, like again, we've done Genesis at least like 3 times. We've cleared more than half of it. At least I have. I've been part of a couple different teams with a dyslexic group and with your guys' group, Mr. J. And the mechanics were very much familiar from previous expeditions. And this one, they're bringing in completely new and different, unique mechanics. That it's going to be a learning curve, and I like that. Keeping your
Yep.
game interesting and challenging
Yep.
is a way to keep it alive.
Black, anything?
I don't know. I don't want to be a pessimist, and I don't want to sound like a pessimist. So
Okay.
You guys know me. I'm an optimist, but it does seem like recycle mechanics from like defending a city, like Siege, or OPR, where you can construct cannons and stuff like that, and use them across other forts and shit. But I'm just I'm just watching the trailer you just played, right?
Yep.
And that's all I'm saying. I'm like recycled mechanics that they already have in game and stuff like that. But I'm sure these guys are pretty innovative, especially whenever they bring in a new one, like a new expedition or something. So I'm sure that there's a lot more to it than just like, hey,
Sure.
you know, you can build this cannon and use it. It's like,
Yep.
I got to chop down a tree in front of a boss.
Yep.
That works
Lit.
really well in OPR, by the way.
Well, and so Black Powder.
This is great considering the fact that I play mostly PVE and Lack does a lot more PvP. So you're getting complete two different, the two sides of the whole game. Because I'm excited for it because you don't see these mechanics in PvE a whole lot.
Right, Black Powder's not even the main fight.
See, here's the thing. I think there was only one. If I was to talk about like existing expeditions and things of that nature, there's only one that really has some intricate game mechanics, and it's like the Starstone Barrows, where you have to like do the whole thing with the electric fences and all that horse shit, right? So the rest
Genesis
of the
has some
shit
unique
is
mechanics as well.
the rest of it's usually just like run, slay, go over here, run, slay. And so I always thought Starstone was an interesting one. And if they're putting in mechanics where it's like you have to use the cannon or something like that, I think that's going to be a big improvement. It's going to make things a lot more interesting, other than run and slay. So I'm excited to see it.
Well,
you have to plan for it ahead of time.
It's good.
I know. Now that we've talked about the new expedition, guys, tuning orbs are going away.
I'm excited.
And now, instead of having to grind for tuning orbs and craft tuning orbs, you have a set limit. You can run, I believe it's 15 dungeons a week, and then it's 25 mutated, right? So you just have a certain amount of expeditions that you could run per week instead of having to grind for tuning orbs. Thoughts?
Yeah. I think it's great because if you don't have somebody on your that's your friend that's grinding out the stone cutting profession to make tuning orbs and shit, you're not experiencing the content. The game's gonna get stale very quickly. It's one of those things that I said before about how grindy everything was at the beginning. Like if you didn't have the time to dedicate like 20 hours a fucking week, everybody on your main team, you weren't experiencing the full force of the game. Getting rid of that and putting in the caps, it still gets rid of the bots. It still gets rid of some of the hacking stuff where people are pushing that, gaining it. Another thing that they're doing with the caps is they're also reducing the gold drops directly, and they're putting the gold drops around the environments as well. So you don't even have to run that shit to make decent bank. You can get decent bank from doing corrupted nodes. You can get it from doing other things around the game in PvE solo, where you can get an easy free 1,000 a day just from doing 2 things.
Yep. And they're also doing an expedition finder too, to where you can actually like flag with random people, and you can be like, "Hey, I'm a DPS."
You mentioned it, Lack. I wanted to say it, but I knew it was coming up now.
So, Lack,
I hope that's the announcement, dude.
I'm gonna leave this one up to you because you mentioned it. You like mentioned like, "Oh, I hope it comes to the game," and I'm like, "Oh, you
I
son
bit my
of a-"
tongue so hard, I was like,
But Lack, so about the expedition finder, thoughts?
Oh my god! Like, no, I mentioned that as a problem earlier. So, like, if they're revamping it like that, where I don't have to like actually socialize with other humans, I'm a happy camper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be a very, very happy guy. There are too many times I literally just like sit there as like I had nothing to do on New World. I'll go hang out outside of Starstone or like Amrun, and I just like teleport between them. Like, hey, anybody doing daps or anything? Daps? There's no one around, so I just start fishing, and then I get drunk and pass out at my keyboard.
Yeah.
That's a personal problem, but
The
revamp a lot of that.
It's a character
last-
trait.
Yeah, the last part of the summer update is a summer medley event. Do you guys know about musical instruments coming into the game?
I heard about it because I have
Right.
a bot in my Discord that
Yep.
posts news about it, and it looks interesting because you can be playing an instrument in town and people can tip you, and it'll affect the buff you get. You by playing
Yep.
the music, you get buffs based on what song you're playing.
Yep.
It could be dexterity buffs for your farming.
Well, there's 5
It could
different
be
instruments.
5 different
So you guys
instruments,
play as a band.
different buffs. You can literally play as a band. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
drums. There's a uke. There's a Azoth flute. There is a guitar and stand-up bass.
I don't want to say it's like a gimmick thing. I think it's a fun addition to the game. That I think
as a
allows
resident musician, I would like to chime in on this.
Okay, go ahead.
I need more information now. So you're saying I can like get gold from playing music in a video game?
So
You
it's
can get
like,
tipped, yes.
have you ever played the game Guitar Hero? You probably have.
Who the fuck has it?
I ain't
Okay,
playing
I'm
the
just
game.
Kind of
I-
dumb
you never
question is that?
know,
I'm sorry,
okay?
Mr. J. What the hell?
So it's set up like Guitar Hero, Lack, to where you have to press the keys or the controller
It could
button.
be your
or whatever.
mouse buttons. It could
Yeah,
be
you have to
space,
press
it
the
could be
spot at the right
WASD.
time.
Give me
like
10
Guitar
minutes
Hero.
and I'm winning. Give me 10 minutes
Yep.
and I'm winning.
Right. So that's what it is. And there's 5 different instruments coming. So you can actually like get them all together. You can play as a band. You can do whatever. And like Lava was saying, there's different buffs that you get from playing different songs
Experience
and different
buffs.
instruments.
Harvesting buffs.
All right. Well, now you guys
crafting
are giving me a
buffs, whole
different
lot of shit.
idea.
Speed.
You guys are giving me
I
a
don't think it's a
totally
speed
different
buff.
idea. Where I'm just gonna go open mic into a town and pull up my fucking acoustic guitar and just play for people. And it's just
Oh.
like,
Am I doing it right? Is this working? Do I get a buff? Tip me.
50 coin.
Who needs
Tip me,
instruments? I'm
fucker.
your instrument.
Yeah, but then some guy doesn't throw some money in my fucking helmet or something, and I'm like, "Hey, you get back here, you son of a bitch!" And I just run around town chasing
Flag
him down.
PvP and kill him.
Right.
You gonna pay me one way or another?
Right.
And yeah, you can
Ah.
level the music profession. You can level. You can actually use the, I think it's furniture building section
Ew.
profession to build higher quality
Trophies,
musical
right?
instruments.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Ah, I gotta get my
it's trying to give, because furniture, the decor thing, I know what they were trying to get with the profession. You get the bonuses from having trophies. That's all fun and it's done. You need one guy in your guild to do that shit. Everyone gets him the materials. You don't have to worry about it. But with adding the instruments and making it part of the furniture part, it kind of gives that that craft, that profession, a little more meat.
Right. The last major update coming this year, which I think this is where, so this summer event I feel is going to get people back. Obviously, they want to do the
There's
new
massive
expedition.
balance changes coming to the summer event too.
That's true. I mean, we could talk too about all those. I mean,
There's
I was kind
one
of
that I
going over
really
the
wanna
major
talk about.
parts of it, but there are a lot of balancing things for the weapons and loot and crafting materials, things like that. But
Existing mechanics are changing as well.
oh my gosh, see, we could literally talk for hours,
Like-
guys.
Salvaging. This is why I was telling people today,
Yeah.
if you have items, do not salvage them until the new content drop, because you get bonuses for salvaging. You can get different levels of salvaged material, and you can use that material to craft things. You can use that material to make higher level stuff. You get more experience, you get more out of it. So let's say you're leveling your profession, right? And you make a bunch of shit, you salvage it. Before, it felt like a massive cost thing because you were never getting enough back for what you put into it. You do now with the new content drop. Salvaging is getting a massive change. Several weapons are getting massive changes in balancing. The Great Axe is getting a nice little buff. It's fixing one of the main problems it's had since the beginning. There's so many good things coming this next one. The list of changes is so long, I couldn't get through it today. In my time off, I had my lunch break, an hour lunch. I was reading through it after I took my 30 minutes to go home and make lunch. I couldn't get through the fucking list. It's so massive.
They are.
Perks are
Yeah.
changing, so when you craft something, you're not going to have as high a chance of getting harvesting perks, gathering perks. You're going to get more proficient perks. They're adjusting the dual
Components or
attributes.
skills. Yep.
So your skill attributes, whether it's Constitution and Strength, whatever your main one is, it's going to be higher. They're also bringing down the level grind, what it's going to take for experience. They're doing so many things to make the game less grindy and more accessible to people. I'm loving where this is going. The music and stuff, we could talk about that all day, but the core thing is they're changing the base mechanics of the game to make it better. Way that me and Lack had talked about back in November, December.
Here we go. Here we go. Lack, anything?
And I'm excited about it.
And we saw the potential for this, and it's like I hate that it took so long, but I understand
Same.
AGS is a smaller studio,
Mm-hmm.
but they're literally putting things in that we said would be drastic improvements early on, and they fought it. And now they're starting to do it and see their players come back. So like this is good, but I don't want to call them out of touch developers. It may have actually just been we are not big enough to implement these changes immediately.
And
like
early on,
all it is.
The Expedition
glad they're
Finder
doing
is
something.
going to be locked to your server, but they are already talking about in some of the dev streams. They're talking about opening it up to cross server.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that
you can
reduce queue times.
You can queue for your OPR. You can queue for expeditions.
Yeah.
Get matched up with motherfuckers on another server, and you can even party up with people on other servers. What they're talking about wanting to implement. Probably not this year, but coming at some point.
But
I don't know if you guys have ever been on late at night trying to do OPR. But those queues are fucking stupid.
Trying to do anything late. I usually wait and just like kind of skim the fucking chats and see if hey, looking for a tank to do the depths. Like, hey, I got nothing to do. You want a fucking free carry? You don't even have to heal me.
It's like 3, 4 a.m. and I'm like, I got 4 fucking builds I can run. I can go bruiser tank. I can fucking
let's do something.
Dex, and I'm like, there's still nobody that needs anything that I have. They're just like,
Well, you have to go through a loading screen anyway just to get into an expedition. So why not have it, server wide, to be able to play more?
Exactly.
I think it was 156, or maybe it's coming up soon. You no longer need 3 people at the expedition. You just need one. One person can start.
Nice.
I think that was at
on
156.
Amrine all day, baby.
I think that was 2 days ago. I'm pretty sure 2 days ago.
Yeah.
They put that in place.
Nice.
If not 2 days ago, it'll be on the next release. I'm pretty sure it was 156 though.
Well, the summer release is going to be big, like obviously real big. But I think the autumn release, the update's going to happen in autumn, is going to be the real one where people are going to come back, and I think they're going to stay with the game. In the autumn release, guys, I showed it on the roadmap earlier. There's a whole new territory coming, Brimstone Sands. There's another expedition coming. A new weapon is coming. The two-handed greatsword is coming.
Greatsword, baby.
And like the Halloween and Thanksgiving events as well. So a couple of holiday events, a new two-handed greatsword, another expedition, and a whole new Brimstone Sand territory. Guys, thoughts?
These last 2 announces, it's the reason why I've been getting back into New World. It's the reason why I'm kind of falling in love with it again, because they're making the appropriate
Can we
changes.
talk about how many times he said coming? And
Come.
I once released an Agrarian Autumn too. But like, I mean, we're just getting it's all sexual here. Man. Come on.
Yeah, dude, I've already ruined my trust twice in this
way
conversation.
or something. Like, fuck.
But I think that the autumn one's gonna. I'm really looking forward to it because, granted, I haven't been in Tempest yet. I'm hoping to get into Black Powder early on because it sounds like a blast. I've been working really hard on getting my expertise level up. The expertise table that still needs an adjustment. That is, they're also getting a tweak.
You made a canon joke there, guys.
Ha.
You're talking about that, and you're like, oh, it's going to be a blast. It's like,
bingo.
They're doing an expertise adjustment with this summer drop as well, where you will get the higher chance of gaining expertise by killing something higher. That's currently kind of a thing now, but it's still fairly low. Having been soloing Shattered Mountains for the last week, I haven't seen a whole lot of like heavy increase in it. I still have to go do a lot of farming for gypsum, but they're going to be giving you more expertise or more higher chance of gaining expertise, which is going to make gearing up to do some of these new content that are dropping, these new expeditions, even better. It's going to be much more accessible, which is great.
The expertise right now, I think, is kind of fucked, dude.
Wonky. It's fucky. It's fucky.
Like,
I mean,
you can like farm gypsum for like fucking 4 hours or something like that. Not that I did that earlier, and then only go up 2 levels on 2 pieces of equipment. You're like, what the fuck, man?
Yep.
And that's really it's a big time sink, and it's not exciting. Like again, it goes back to the too grindy thing from back when it dropped.
Yeah.
That part of it's still too grindy. You need to find that nice balance.
I think it limits like accessibility to like casual players, guys that
Oh, yeah.
maybe have like they're not streamers, you know, they got families, they got jobs. So then whenever they get home, it's just like I have 2 hours to play this fucking game.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't have fucking 8 hours to sit here and grind out.
Guess I'm gonna harvest herbs for the next hour and a half to get enough to make me get one gypsum fucking box.
Well, you remember like I was still working at that fucking job whenever like the shit dropped, and I was just like, oh, okay, well I'm just gonna chop down trees because that seems to be the best use of my time in this fucking game.
Well, what I think is the biggest update that's coming, and the biggest like attention getter is the brand new area, Brimstone Sands. Like, what do you guys expect from that? Like, what do you think the layout, the territory is gonna be like in a sand themed area?
All right, honestly, so I'm probably going Egyptian aesthetic.
Same. Honestly, I would love to see something because you have the feudal Japan area. I would love to see, scorpions, fucking,
You got the Louisiana area,
Yeah, basically,
right.
Louisiana.
I mean, that's what I think, like swamps and marshlands over there, dude. I'm just like, yeah, that's Louisiana.
And then, your POIs would be pyramid-based.
So, like, 2 cousins fucking on this rowboat out there. It was crazy.
Her banjos and shit got terrified, went home.
Pretty awful.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we already have, like, skeletons and stuff, like, whatever. But what if, like, you're saying Egyptian, like, you fight in, like, the Ushabti and, like, all the Egyptian-style gods? Yeah. Would that be too much of a crossover, though? Like, would that take away from the New World aesthetics? You know what I'm saying?
Really.
Like, to have that Egyptian.
So, you have that feudal Japan area.
Yeah. You go to the Dynasty Japan area, and it's literally just like anime land over there. So some weebs over there just like beating off while he's running a raid. I mean,
I was excited about going to that area.
I thought it was all right, but they didn't serve sushi, so I was kind of pissed.
Yeah, I was kind of a little annoyed. But I would love to see them do something new with character models.
They don't have that in the game to like cook though. Like you're always like fishing and shit like that, but you can't. Maybe it's coming. You literally have rice,
like recipes. Like they could easily add different recipes
because they're also adding a bunch of recipes with the new content drop.
Give me that sashimi, baby. Give me that sashimi.
There you go.
But I would love to see them come up with different character models. We keep seeing the same recycled ones no matter where you go currently in the game. They have the same noises. They look damn near the damn same. They may have a different style of clothing, but they're still the same shit.
Right.
The only ones that really get a big change.
A lot of pale white guys in the game.
A lot of really pale that throw up in their hands and throw at it.
You know how many times I felt like I killed lava in the game? It's insane to me.
All day. I would love to see them come out with, especially with the new area. They have the prime opportunity to release some new character models for NPCs.
Oh, 100%.
I would love to see them do that.
Yep.
They did well with the tigers across the various areas. They did well with the birds, with the turkeys to the peacocks to whatever the fuck. I think that they have a prime opportunity to do the same thing with the actual mobs in the new area.
Can I make a terrible prediction though?
I mean,
100%.
Absolutely.
Can I make a terrible prediction? Okay, so you know how they have like that one model that actually looks like an Egyptian goddess, like kind of like
I fought like a shit ton of
Morningdale, like Anubis or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's like they have the Egyptian hat on, but they're like undead.
Right.
I don't want to see that recycled. I
don't want to see that be every mob.
It's I feel that, yeah. What about the Greatsword?
Just give me a bunch of Indiana Joneses. I love killing one.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What do you guys think? How do you think the Greatsword is going to handle?
I really hope that it's going to be based off a scale off of strength and con.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see that be right now the only actual like off tank weapon that feels like an off tank weapon is the blunderbuss. You can make the Warhammer work. But I would love to see the Greatsword step in and be kind of like you have a whirlwind attack for AoE threat. You can throw the motherfucker. You can whatever you can do. Like I would love to see that be used in conjunction with tanking. Tanking feels like there's not a lot of love there.
Right.
Well, you can tell like what I would say like the sword like whenever the game dropped is it definitely felt more like a PvP weapon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the attacks, the abilities and stuff like that. To have that more like threat generation and stuff like that, AoE attacks and stuff like that, and it would be kind of cool if they actually like introduced a third tree, at some point. I'm sure that's not coming anytime soon, but
in the next 2 years, I'd love to see a third tree in every one of them.
Right,
which would be awesome. And but the Greatsword as it stands right now, I'm just like, dude, it doesn't even like. Have you guys seen like a really really high strength sword on the market? I haven't. haven't seen a max
I'm a
sword.
tank. Finding a tank sword is so fucking hard. And when you do,
Yeah.
it's like 120,000.
Yeah, that's just what I mean, man. It's like they're so rare, and it's so hard to get the fucking strength up on them and shit like that. It's kind of like it negates the whole purpose.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
All
like
right,
you're
so-
better off running the hammer and the fucking axe.
True.
Because
And
like you can
The
get
axe scales
a
off dex, so I mean, you really got to kind of
axe.
compromise your build
Right.
if you want to do damage and pull threat with the axe.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. Is like a max axe or a max hammer. They're easier to find and they're cheaper.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
I've never seen a max greatsword on the market.
Right.
I mean, we can go up to like $250,000 in the game, and I've still never seen one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say that I think it was Lava said it earlier or something like that. That I feel like all of the classes, no matter what you use, you still have a chance regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the same's gonna be at the greatsword. The only thing that I don't want the greatsword to be is super slow and swinging.
Yeah. I don't want it to feel like
Like
another fucking
Claymore.
Warhammer.
Yeah.
Like a goddamn
Exactly.
Claymore,
Yeah. All right, so we got one final question, and then we're gonna get caught up on chat questions. We're gonna probably
wrap so much for movies though.
We're gonna probably rapid fire.
Like, you know,
We're gonna rapid fire chat questions just so just so we get to new worlds. We have to
Play in some
play.
new worlds.
You
We've
know,
been on this for
exactly.
longer than
Exactly.
expected this to be.
So right now we're hitting an hour. So we've been at it for an hour. So all right, I got one more question.
I can go for two more.
And then we'll try to rapid fire all the chat questions, and then we'll get to some New World. The last question that I had for you guys, I know we've talked about this DLC that's dropping the roadmap, you know what I'm saying? It's coming up the summer, the autumn with Brimstone and Greatsword, all this right now. But my last question is, what do you guys feel is the direction that New World should take in the future? So like past this roadmap, what direction does New World need to go?
Who's fielding first? Do we flip the guitar pick that's
If
completely
you got something right off the cuff, go ahead. I got something, but I'm compiling.
This is the problem in the early days, and it's something they're implementing now, and it's literally something that it wasn't alone to us. We weren't the only ones saying this. They're now implementing the fast travels, the Azoth changes and stuff like that. The hidden stashes and stuff like that. So that's a really, really good implementation for like the casual to just run out there and it's like, I only have 2 hours a day to log into this. And that's where I think they lost a lot of people in the early days. I remember specifically Blast was just like, dude, what the 250 Azoth to get to you guys to run this thing?
Oh yeah.
I can't fucking afford it. I
Too
don't
much.
have it. So like removing a couple of those grindy elements where it's like if you're truly skilled in things of that nature where you can earn these things instead of just putting a shit ton of time into a game and it rewards skill over grind, I think they're moving in the right direction, but I think they're a little slow to do it. So the implementation of these new ideas and things of that nature need to be happening at a much faster pace. It's literally going through coding and changing values. That's all they had to fucking do for the fast travel.
Yep.
It's cool that they added new points. That's great. But they didn't have to. You could have literally just went in, changed a couple of integers in coding, and removed some of the big problems and retained your player base. But that's the stubbornness of developers that I think we're seeing now, where it's just like, we know what you want. We know what you want. We got a great franchise here. We got a great idea. And it's like, yeah, but y'all fuck it up down the road, don't you? So I'm hoping that in the future, New World listens to the players and what they want. And I think the expedition like Q is a fucking great idea. It's a good way to get people back. It's like a guy logs onto the game. He only has like 2 hours, a night, maybe, if that, maybe like every 2 or 3 days to play the fucking game. He wants to get in there. He wants to do a dungeon and get the fuck out.
Right.
Awesome. That's the kind of shit that needs to be implemented like earlier. So the practical application of like these like ideas that like just listen to your player base. We were saying this shit like day one. When I watched fucking Death Reaper die fucking 5 times trying to get to me and Stu, like that shit was stupid.
Right.
I went back and
Do you
got
know
it.
what his stream was? Do you know what his stream was? Fucking like PUBG auto run simulator. That's what it looked like. The guy's just running through the forest. Hey, look, a wolf. I'm level 1. Oh shit. One tap.
Yep.
So like shit like that has to get out of there. You have to be more open to the casuals. You can make some of the later game content kind of like the expertise shit more grindy for us, like guys that have a little bit more time to grind out the game.
Yep.
And that's cool, but there should also be opportunities for the casual gamer who has less than 10 hours a week to fucking game.
Right.
And I think that would increase player base, viewer base, and I think it would incentivize everybody to put more time into the game.
True.
But that's just me.
So I'm on more of a technical aspect, I want to see more transparency in what the fuck your attribute points actually do. I want to know how much health I'm gaining each attribute point. I
Okay.
want to know
Yep.
how much percentage damage, strength. I want to see exactly what that is. If I'm getting health from a buff from a town that I have a house in, I want to see that the entire time I have it, and I want a notification when it goes away if something happens. That town gets hit by a war and it gets downgraded, and I lose that buff. I
Sure.
want to see more, modular details about every buff in the game. I want to know exactly what's happening.
Your
The
numbers
other
guy.
thing that I
Yeah.
would, yeah, because how are you gonna play a game? How you gonna perfect what you're trying to do if you don't know exactly what your numbers are?
Mhm.
Where you got to go to another site to see some dude that did the fucking crazy math to break it down. Like I
For
want to see
anybody
that in the game.
watching though, like you should talk about how your con changed and explain that.
Oh
Like
yeah, so
just
one
from
of my
one
reasons
week
for
to the
that
next.
Right. Yeah.
is I used
I
to
was
be
thinking
a
that.
solely con based tank. I had so much con. I had like almost 19k HP fully buff, which was crazy high. But I would just randomly lose 1.5 to 2.5k health at random. I'd be playing fine all day with my max HP, doing great. I would, go through an instance, come back out, instantly lost, 1,000, 2,000 health. No idea why. My gear didn't change, my buffs didn't change. Everything that was on my character was the exact same. And you talk about it to people like, oh, it's a bug. You have to unequip all your stuff, re-equip it, log out, fucking full fresh restart the game. And it's like I shouldn't have to do that to fix the bug. I
Mhm.
should be able to look at what I have, see exactly what I have, and see exactly what buffs are benefiting. Whether it's a trophy that I have or a town buff or a food buff, I should see exactly what it's doing.
Right.
At the same point in time, I would love to see them eventually add larger expeditions, more than 5 man. Because if you're in a guild, you're running 5 man with the same people over and over again. You're
Yeah.
running multiple groups. Give me a 15. Give me a 10. Give me
Yep.
a 25 where you
Yep.
have a big baddie to go after. It's a larger version of a similar raid,
Maybe the
except
raid
for
takes
mechanics.
longer, or the
Okay, so
Yeah,
for
expedition
that
takes
though,
longer.
do you remember the turkey for Thanksgiving or
yeah.
the Easter bunny, right?
Or
So I
the
get what
Yeti.
you're saying. Like you could LFG and it would put together a group of like 20 people. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Or if you just like LFG for Shattered Mountain Runs.
Uh
yeah.
huh.
I think that's
Let us have a larger group so we can do stuff, even if it's just like I said. Don't call it like an adventure or some shit like that. Give it another name where we can go into like Tempest with a 25 man and it's different than Mutation. You could have a 25 man mutated. That'd be a great way to keep content fresh and give you abilities to work with your guilds.
Right.
yep.
You know, one thing that I thought of too, and again, this is just kind of my
Company.
take on what maybe they could do for something cool. Okay, the whole premise of the game is new world, like they're on this new island, right? You're on
Oh, I
this
love that.
new area, new land. What if, as a faction, you had to donate like wood or iron or
To
whatever
build it up.
to build, like, say, a ship that you as a faction go raid some random island for extra loot? Like an
Yeah,
extra like thing. You
Like,
see what I'm
see,
saying?
I think that'd
I
be a
mean, the
great unique
pirate
mechanic.
theme is very heavy in the game,
Heavy.
so that would
Heavy as fuck.
Right. So like
be
why not
really
have
really
it to
good.
where factions can,
That's a
like,
good
hey,
idea.
you as like
I would love that.
Marauders or you as Covenant or whatever, say, hey, put into this pot, like, hey, we need so much wood, we need so much, whatever, food or
Stone,
whatever it is.
lodestones,
And then once you
craft
get to
this
that
specific. Yeah.
goal, then you set a time to when you as a faction, whoever wants to join or cap it at, 25, 30, whatever it is, and then do this like island run. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
would love
For
that.
Yeah.
I think that would
extra
be
stuff.
a
I think that'd be
great
kind of cool.
addition.
That
Like-
would be good, like for like an out of map thing. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like where they could invent like this own little world
Yeah.
and stuff like that. That's a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
And it would play into what I was
Hey,
saying about
hey,
the 20,
tweet that.
25 man shit. Yeah, no, that's a
Tweet
great
that.
fucking idea.
Clip it, chat. Clip
Clip
it.
it,
I'm
ship
gonna at the devs on that one. All right, guys. So we're gonna get to the chat questions here. Try to get caught up as quick as we can. Obviously, it's up to you guys how much you want to dive into it. But I'll just say them, and if you guys want to kind of how much you want to talk about them after this, then we'll get into some New World. Okay. Question we had a while ago. Do you think a fighting style rebuff would be useful? Because in my opinion, the moves seem repetitive now.
As far as just strictly animations, I mean, yeah, I mean, how long it's been out now? I mean, for what you're using, I think the animations do kind of fucking get a little stale. But it's going to be like that in any MMO you go to. Your specific class, you have a specific weapon, it's going to be the same animation.
Well, I guess they could double up. Like you come up with like a couple other moves. Like it's like a combination thing where you click it 3 or 4 times or whatever, and that completes your like cycle, right?
Yeah.
So if
Yep.
you were to throw in like 3 or 4 new moves and it randomly shifted behind them,
That'd be good.
like
I like
from like, oh hey, instead
Sure.
of like starting off with like like boxing games or something like that, where
Yeah.
it's like jab, right, left hook, right hook. They're just like fucking right cross, left uppercut, right overhand, left hook on the exit. I mean, that's a pretty easy animation to make. So I think that would be easy to implement in the game. But I don't think it's stale. I mean, like most MMOs, it's literally just like
Just
click,
that
click,
the
click,
whole
click,
time.
click, done. Click, click,
Like,
click, click,
wow,
click,
the animations
done.
barely have changed. If they do, it changes the ground effects of the animation.
Yeah. So like, but I see what you're saying to keep it interesting visually. Yeah. I don't think that's a bad idea, and I think it could be easily done. But
Uh-huh.
I'm literally looking at the cheapest way to implement it because I have a
Yeah.
little bit of experience with mocap, and it would just be to put those cycle in, and then just kind of you can randomize like which one it does
Yeah.
here and there. And
I think
visually, that would
that'd
keep it
be welcome.
interesting. But you see, we think that keeps it interesting, but
Does it?
at a certain point,
Yeah.
You're gonna gloss over it.
at a certain point, as the gamer, you're just kind of like, I'm just left clicking. I'm not, I'm
Right.
not really doing shit.
Right.
But
Right.
to each their own. To each their own. I respect
Yeah.
it, and that would be an easy way to implement it. And yeah, it's possible. But doesn't really
This one kind of
bother me.
goes back to when we were talking had our big mount conversation. To not have mounts because that would turn into a cash grab for the game. Now, I'll kind of start off, and I'll let you guys kind of add to it if you like. My thing is this MMO is different than like Final Fantasy or World of Warcraft, all that, because you pay one time and you have the game. So my perspective is, as long as things that you're buying isn't pay to win to like make you stronger, games have to have microtransaction of some kind because they need money to make new content. So it's
Especially
like
with single
if you
player
had mounts to where it's a cash grab to buy, okay, like they need to still make money somehow, and they're not doing a monthly subscription like WoW and Final Fantasy and those other MMOs. Like, what's your guys? I guess it kind of not necessarily mount for a cash grab, but what's your guys' takes on like microtransactions in New World?
If they're strictly cosmetic, I'm okay with it. Because if I don't want it, I'm not gonna buy it. If you want it, you can buy it. You can change the look of your armor. Currently in game, I'm wearing like 4 different armor sets. And that's fine for me. If it's a pay to win thing where it's like you can buy and get like, legendary weapons and stuff like that, nah, it's gonna kill the game.
For sure.
Okay, so in this, I don't know how much experience you guys have with game development or anything like that. What it is a subscription based when they have more investable income coming in and
Mhm.
consistent income and things like that, so they can invest in higher like DLCs and stuff like that and online services and stuff like that. That's why New World was so crazy to me, and I was like, dude, $40 for a fucking
Yep.
MMORPG, that's
So
fucking insane, right? But here's the thing: is they had the initial
monthly
pre-orders and
cost.
stuff like that, so they schedule like game development based on that, and that's also what I would like to defend them on is to say they only made so much money here, so like their capital investment for continued play is minimalized. So that's a big fucking problem for some games. So the subscription services, when they almost have like an unending amount of income, and this is why
Yeah.
I can't really fault them sometimes whenever it takes a while to implement something for quality of life in the game. But I hate that they kind of did it in a way because I want them to have the money to do what we're talking about and to like do things quicker and stuff like that. So if they were to put in something like that in the game, maybe like once a year you pay like $20 and then there's like a new DLC or something
I'm
like the
fine with
Pirate Island thing you're talking about where you
Uh-huh.
go and like you like pillage like another island or something. And the availability that comes from like paying like an extra $20 because if you only pay $40 for this fucking game and it's amazing, dude. You can lose yourself almost have 1,000 hours in this fucking game.
Dude,
For $40,
easily
that's
have got your
insane.
money's out of it. 100%.
Yeah.
That's
Easy.
insane. So
Mhm.
so like with them like continuing purchases and stuff, I don't think they're making the money off of the skins that they thought they would.
Sure.
I
Well,
don't think they are.
I'll be
And
honest, I'm not really sold on a lot of their skins. Like, they don't really jump out at me as like, ooh, I need that. You know what I mean? I feel like their skin like game is kind of lacking.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the
Yeah,
NPCs, you
I
can
can
see
totally
that.
agree with that. And this is what I mean about game economy. You have the ones that are big drops, and then you have subscription after, or you have subscription in the first place, and
Mhm.
that's what it survives on. And then you have the free to play element, but who the fuck wants to talk about that shit?
Yeah.
Go Apex. But
Give me a battle pass in New World. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
Right, stop it.
That's something I don't want to see, right? So, like, this is something people need to understand, though, is how game economics as a developer works. Is that you have big costs in the beginning, or you have some costs in the beginning and then a subscription fee, or you just go straight subscription fee. New World did it in a way that is considered outdated by most developmental premises, where it's, hey, $40, awesome game, lose hours and hours, days, months of your life into it, and you're gonna have fun. And I've had fun. I almost have 1,000 hours in this fucking game. So they did it right, and it's like, and this is where like I think it's forgivable to like not implement the changes we're talking about, because yeah, they had that initial drop. The game was cheaper than anything else on Steam coming out with that much fucking hype. So it's like this is why I'm like willing to forgive them again.
Yeah. Oh,
just
100%.
because it's like they're dealing with less funding. They can't outsource a developmental chain. They can't outsource a DLC to somebody else. They can't fucking do these things. So it was a brave choice, and it gave us a great game for $40, and that's why it still lives on in my heart. But I want to see these things implemented down the road, and I just wish that we had a more direct line of contact with these people.
Right.
I mean, give me your name, give me your phone number. You know what I mean?
What's your address, bro?
But on some real shit, like I do think that the longevity of the game is great, it's strong, and they do take a while to implement these changes that we want, and that's where they're shooting themselves in the foot, though. Maybe they should have charged more for the game, or maybe like a fucking $2 a month service or something like that, where they would have residual income coming back and reinvesting in the game. And I hope that it doesn't like actually be problematic for them in terms of longevity. And you guys are making me sound like a fucking nerd over here with these words.
No, you're good.
Beer and
Good
titties.
points.
Look at Lack using all these big words.
So
Longevity,
I mean, like,
damn, that's multiple syllables.
I just wanted to explain it for your chat, because some of these people don't understand how like game economics and developmental economics in the gaming world like work, because it's
how
like
it
you basically have like 5 initial ways that a game makes money, and that's the only reason that you make a game is to make money. So they gave us so much in the beginning, and they did such a great job. And
which is why I'm looking forward to this new drop, because it's gonna be, it's like
I'm saying they're not making any money off of this. They're not making any fucking money off of this. They're not charging for the DLC, as far as I know.
But they do have more cosmetics, stuff like that are coming out, and that's probably where they're hoping to get some of the money back.
They're making because no one cares what their fucking character looks like in New World.
Yeah, no one cares about that shit. Definitely not the guy.
I know you got that fucking $50 version over there.
Can we not tell a dyslexic that new cosmetics are coming to the game?
Only gonna go broke.
I do like this next question though. I really like this because it's kind of near and dear like to my heart with the Diablo series. Is talking about what more magic classes or classes in general can come to the game, like combat tanks, like a barbarian class, or even like a summable ward. Kind of like in Diablo, you think about the necromancer class where you can summon like minions to fight with you. Like, what do you think about those types of new classes added to the game?
You kind of have a barbarian class as it is with the hatchet.
Bruiser build stuff.
Yeah, the bruiser build with the hatchet, and you can do a bruiser sword and board type thing, and he's very barbarian-esque, because they do have things that can counter, somebody like me who's got a lot in stamina, who's got a lot of mitigation for breaking my stamina. You can still shatter me pretty good. But as far as a caster goes, we've seen a lot of casters being added, and I think down the road, I would love to see like where you could summon a ward that buffs, or you can summon something that attacks for a window of time as like a cooldown. You pop it up, it fights something for a minute and a half, and then it despawns, or it dies. I think that would be awesome, kind of cool, especially in PvP. It would flip PvP on its head. Now you got to prioritize.
Well, obviously, if you're having a necromancer class, like if you can summon other people, you yourself have to be a little less beefy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you got to be more of a glass cannon.
Yeah, if you can summon other people to like distract them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You have to be kind of less beefy, but
similar to like a pyro mage right now.
Is like the whole thing is like you can't summon something that one of your like the way that they could like create an equilibrium here is like if you didn't kill it, you didn't get the final blow on it, you can't summon it back to life.
You can't revive it.
So I think that would be a good counterbalance to what you guys
or use a resource
about.
from like jewel crafting or alchemy.
Sure.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, if your teammate
Similar to
who's
arrows
the
and
fucking
bullets.
tank or the dex build guy, the fucking bow and arrow guy, if they killed him, you can't summon them back.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like it motivates you to go kill somebody, and that would be an
forced
interesting
balance.
class.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
Yep.
I think I love the idea,
Yeah,
especially with
absolutely.
potentially what we're hoping is like Egyptian style. I think that would be great for that area too. Go right at home.
Yeah. Bring back a bunch of mummies. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
fuck
King
yeah.
Tut!
Get
Get
stuck
out
in
of
the ass
here.
by a
And kick
necroscorpion.
him in the
Yep.
nuts. All right, that's what we need.
These next two are you guys specific questions, not New World.
Right.
How does Lava, or says, how did the guy on the right keep his beard so well groomed?
Time, patience, and a
Demon.
good barber. I use quality product. I spend more on my beard than I probably do on liquor in a week.
Next one says, from Stu Fiki, Lava, you're a bot, and Lack, I
Fair.
love you.
I come out on top in this one. Let's go.
If Stu's involved, you're always out on top, bro.
I think I've been in yoga, so I can suck my own dick after this.
Last question here, and obviously this is a great way to end, actually. And I'll give you guys a chance to kind of do closing remarks so we can actually get to New World. Last question is, what is it like? I know, so we actually
I'm talking about this shit. Let's play it.
This is from Captain. What is it like being the coolest people on the internet?
What is it like being Lava?
All right.
I love looking down on people from my 6'4" stance. I love beard whipping guys that are still under 5'11". I only drink the finest scotch in the world because I'm so fucking fancy, and on weekends I party with Elon Musk. That's basically the life of me, Lava.
True. But all right, gentlemen, so we're going to get to as many expeditions, I guess, as we can tonight.
Yeah.
Our conversation kind of got away from us, but I want to give you guys a chance.
We anticipated that.
I know, right?
Yeah, we expected it.
You got closing in on an hour and a half. So I want to give you guys each a chance to do, or to kind of give your closing remarks on the game. Now, you can talk about anything, like the change of the game, the state of the game, the future of the game. Just kind of what is your closing remarks on New World?
Well, the game struggled out the gate. It was fun initially. Once you hit a certain level, it became too much. It was going downhill fast. We saw that with the server mergers because they lost so many people. But they're making the right steps finally. I feel like they're taking community guidelines and guidance much more heavily now, and they're going to continue down this path. Hopefully, at least it looks like they're setting themselves up to. I watched the last dev video, and they are much more open. They're working on getting up a Discord server. There's ways to get a hold of them and talk to them and as a community. And I think they're making the proper steps to make the game good going forward. I think now's a great time to get into New World if you haven't, especially with the various sales that are going out right now for it, so you can get it at a discount. I think it's worth at least checking out.
Right. Sure. Black?
Brought to you by Blizzard.
Hashtag not an ad. Yet.
All right, so to just kind of continue, I do back to the game economics, guys. I hate the fucking trope on this. You don't realize like what a great deal you got for like $40 for buying that fucking game.
Oh yeah,
and the amount of like redeemable content and replayability that does not come with other games and stuff like that. I think we stand behind the New World guys, and I think they have great things coming. It's just we have to be a little bit more patient with them. Okay, they do not have the economic redeemability that exists with other like AAA studios who can fucking put out a patch for like quality of life improvements like 24 hours later. They don't have that. So I think there's a lot more forgiveness. So if you're not enjoying the game now, you will down the road. And I think that they're doing right by us players, and they're implementing the things that we've been bitching about for like months and months and months. But it's coming. So it says that they're listening to us. It says that they care about us and our fucking playability of the game. So I say stick with New World, guys, and you're gonna have a great time anyway. So
yeah, I don't have anything else that you guys haven't said. I especially I especially agree. Oh god. I lost my train of thought now. Jesus.
Yeah, you saw it in live exorcism.
I was going to agree with what Lava said, that I feel like now is one of the best times to get into the game because of the summer event and this autumn update with the new area and all of that. Like, these are two of the biggest changes the game has had since it's been out. So it's like, get in it now, get used to the game before these big changes happen, so you actually kind of know what's going on.
No.
Get in before the resurgence, guys. Get in now.
Yep.
Okay, because it is going
leg up.
to have a resurgence, and you're going to want to be one of those guys, at least level 40 or 50, to want to play with us, right?
Yep.
Unless you're a loser, you son of a...
Castle of Steel, by the way.
Castle of Steel. If you want to play with us, we're the Musketeers. Be a Marauder.
There you go.
But all right, thank you guys for the hour and a half of New World conference. This was needed. We needed to do this.
It was neat, dude. I've been so excited for this, dude.
Yes. But all right, are you guys finally ready to actually get
like
to some
3
expeditions?
I've been in this game the whole time, just keeping my character moving so I don't get timed out, man.
I'm about to log in right now. But hey, guys, Saturday, this whole podcast will be up on my YouTube channel. You guys can go ahead and check that out. And if you haven't already, be sure to drop Lackadaysickle and Lavacolonix a follow. We will be running some expeditions right now. I am actually going to be streaming. I think Lava's going to restream again. Lack, are you going to stream or not, or just play with us? Lack, what are you doing?
I'm not.
I didn't know if you were going to fire up or stream or not. Okay. So yeah, I'll be streaming. Lava's going to be streaming. We're going to be running some expeditions for as long as we can keep ourselves awake.
Fair enough.
But all right, appreciate you guys doing this. Let's get into some New World, man.